Hello West Ham fans, how you doing? It's Lee here from the Free Hammers. And the plan for this season was that I was going to do the reviews and previews of all our European games. Sad thing is, this is it. This is my last one. It's my fourth and final. Because last night we were knocked out of the Europa League by Astra. Listen, I'm not going to go into a major rant. Enough has been said. This is I'm just going to give a couple of minutes of what I think went wrong. I don't know. I mean, it's the next morning, and I'm still in a bit of shock actually that we've gone out. I really thought we were going to finish the job this year and get in the group stages, and I'm gutted that we haven't. But I've been around West Ham for long enough now, and I've supported the club for long enough to know that we'll bounce back. And in the long run, I can't help but think it could be a bit of a blessing. That's not to say that right now it's hurting. And really, with the side that we had out, we should have had enough to beat them. And indeed, the side was Randolph in goal. Back four was Burke, once again at left back. I suspect will now be sent out on loan. Now we've been knocked out. Ogbonna, Reed was the skipper. Noble was injured apparently. And Sam Byram at right back. The midfield three was Nordveld, Chiati and Obiang. And then the wingers were Gokhan Tor and Mikel Antonio. And Keleri started up front. Bench was reasonably strong as well. Ashley Fletcher, Enna Valencia were all there. James Collins was there. Reece Oxford was really unlucky not to start the game. Maybe he had a knock or something, I don't know, but I was surprised to see he didn't start the game. But Bilic promised that he'd put out the strongest team available to him, and if you believe that Lanzini and Payet and Noble are indeed still / are injured, then that probably was the strongest side he could have put out last night. So from that perspective, it's hard to criticise. But obviously we didn't win the game, even though the team that did go out should have had enough to beat Astra. So what went wrong? I mean, we didn't play at any sort of pace. It was a warm night, let's make no mistake. You just see that all the fans around the stadium were sweating. So what it was like for the players, I have no idea. But that being said, they're professional footballers at the peak of their careers, at the top of their game, playing in the Premier League. They should be able to put up with a bit of heat. So as I say, we didn't play with much pace. We didn't get any crosses in the box, which worked really well in the first leg and indeed against Bournemouth. Looking at the game in itself, in terms of chances, I mean, Keleri missed a big one, another one-on-one. He seemed to have sort of lost the ball under his feet and ended up kind of tackling himself. And the keeper made the first of many good saves. I mean, that was really it for the first half until they got the sucker punch goal, which came right at the end. I think it was about the 44th minute. And it was, a real sucker punch. Caught out, lost the ball high up in the pitch, and then Teixeira, used to play for West Brom, managed to stick it home, and that was the goal that got them through. The game finished 1-0. Second half was just us attacking and trying to counter. Indeed, when they did try and counter, they were only going forward in ones and twos. There wasn't sort of bombing players forward. But we just couldn't break them down. We didn't create that many chances in the second half. Certainly more than the first half, it has to be said. But just not enough. But when we did get a few crosses in, we were winning our headers. But then the keepers pulled off a couple of fantastic saves. I think there was one, I think it was Keleri who had a header, and it was sort of going back across goal, and the keeper managed to pass it away, and Valencia had a free kick which he buzzed round. It was just disappointing. We lacked a creative midfielder. We lacked either Lanzini or Payet. So the sooner we can get one of those back, hopefully on Sunday, obviously the better. And let's put all this to bed about Payet's not playing because he's leaving. I like to think that's not the case, but let's hopefully transfer window shuts next week. Let's get him on the pitch on Sunday and do something about what so far hasn't been the best performances so far this season. As I say, it's a real tough one to take, that we've got out. Quick word on the referee, who it's always difficult being in the stands, and he's sort of very quick to criticise the ref, and from the face of it, he didn't have a good game. Their players were taking as long as they could with every set piece. Every time the ball went dead, a player went down injured. It was good to see the ref book one of their players for feigning an injury. You don't see that very often, so obviously that's good to see. But, you know, maybe it's something we need to learn from in Europe. We play against the European sides and they've got the lead, and then they just use every dirty, technically legal thing in the book. So maybe we need to bring a bit of that into our game. Not too much. I'm not saying we should start feigning injuries and things, but they obviously showed a way to see out a game, to close out a game when they were 1-0 up. They were the underdogs, and at the end of the day, they managed to get the result, even though we were under par, and our squad was obviously decimated by injuries still. But there we go. The upshot of it all is that we are out of the Europa League. There'll be no Thursday nights at the Olympic/London Stadium this season. And that's pretty much all I can say about it, really. Not a good night. Let's dust ourselves down, move on. We've got Man City on Sunday, which is going to be one heck of a tough game. I mean, you cannot underestimate how tough it's going to be. Let's hope Noble's back. Let's hope that Lanzini, Payet, one or hopefully both of those two are back. Because Antonio and Sam Byram looked knackered after the 60th minute last night. They were really struggling, and it really has been too much of a burden for the likes of Antonio to be able to pull us through in matches, and sort of your Chiatis and your Nobles, who are real driving forces in midfield, but it's too much for them to do, and they're carrying a few players at the moment. But as I say, let's not beat around the bush. There wasn't a good performance, other than the only bright light really was Ashley Fletcher coming off the bench, and if the rumours of us signing Zaza are true, that will probably mean that Fletcher's going off on loan. I think Leeds and Norwich are both interested, so that would be a massive shame, because he came on and really gave it a good go. He was direct, he was running in behind, he was showing for the ball, he was doing everything which Enner Valencia didn't do on Sunday against Bournemouth. And I think, if I had to give a man in the match last night, it probably would be Ashley Fletcher, even though he only played for about 20 minutes and really gave us a chance when he came on. Missed a bit of a sitter, thought the ball bounced to him, and the keeper made another great save. But as I say, if we had to pick one bright light from last night, it would be the performance of Ashley Fletcher. And let's hope that for the long term, if not for this season, then he's going to be a fantastic striker for West Ham United. But as I say, we move on. We play Man City on Sunday. I'm going up there. I haven't been to Man City in a few years. I go to virtually every away game. I haven't been to Man City since we lost 6-0 in the League Cup semi-final. I've purposely avoided it every year since then, so quite looking forward to getting back up there and hoping we can put in a performance like we did away at Arsenal, Liverpool, and indeed Man City last season. Luke will have his preview of that game. It'll be up in the next day or so. In the meantime, if you want to check back on one of our old videos, we had a fantastic podcast this week. We had Jack Sullivan on the show, who gave a really mature interview, answered all your questions, answered our questions, gave some particularly interesting insights into how things like stadium naming rights works in the new stadium, and how West Ham, things like that, are absolutely out of our control. We're only tenants, but it's a really interesting listen and watch. So get on that. It's on iTunes as well, so search for the Three Hammers on YouTube and iTunes to get that. But anyway, as I say, the headline is that we are out of the Europa League at the qualifying stages once again to Astra. It means that my review career for this season is over, which is a great shame, but you won't get to see my ugly mug for a bit anyway. Let's hope we can bounce back against Man City. Our catchphrase here, or our tagline here at the Three Hammers, is keep believing, and that's never been truer than it is right now. I'll see you soon.